Hi, and welcome to Beyond Fear to Freedom podcast. I'm Debbie G, the founder, and my very special guest here is Maggie. It's Testimony Tuesday. I'm excited to see and share with you what God has done in this woman's life. So Maggie and I go back a long time.
Yeah.
What do we say, like 12 years?
Yeah, 12 years.
Like 12 years. So her mom was incarcerated and came out to the ministry that I oversaw with Alongside Ministries back in the day. And you, of course, were trying to reconcile with your mom. And so you would come and just kind of hang out. And that's where we started our relationship, right?
Yes.
But this is not about her mom or how we started. This is about you. So my first question is what was your life before Christ?
So before Christ, my life was a mess. At a young age, I was taken to Mexico.
Are we talking like kidnapped?
Somewhat, yeah, kidnapped.
How old were you?
I was 13 years old.
How old is the person that took you?
23 years old.
That would be called kidnapping. So you were kidnapped at the age of 13 and brought to Mexico from Arizona.
Yes.
What happened?
And I had an abusive relationship out there. And I was so afraid to come back home, and because I was afraid of the punishment, because I was also a victim of child abuse.
Okay, let's stop for a second. How long were you with this person in Mexico?
Well, I left when I was about 13, 14, and I ended up coming back at the age of like 19.
So you were in this relationship for like 5-6 years.
Yes.
You did have children in this relationship?
I did.
And how many did you have?
I had 3 children.
3 children. And the reason you didn't come home is that you were afraid of the punishment because you were
A runaway.
You were a runaway from an abusive home.
Yeah.
Who was abusive in your family?
Well, my mom, she went to prison because of child abuse.
How did that even happen?
I don't remember.
Did she abuse you and she was incarcerated because of that?
We got into a huge fight, and I ended up with bruisings on myself. And
who called the police?
A neighbor, concerned neighbor.
When your neighbors get involved, you know something's going on.
Yeah, it happened outside, and police showed up, pictures were taken, she was arrested, and she always said, I was arrested because of you.
So she blamed her incarceration on you.
Yes.
So I'm going to just stop right there. Listen, nobody can make somebody else do anything when you are an adult. So I think when people say, well, you made me hit you. No. Nobody makes anyone hit someone else. We're triggered and we don't know how to handle our triggers, so we lash out. So you grew up thinking you were you were told that you were the reason your mom was incarcerated.
Yes.
So what happened and so where was your dad in all of this?
We didn't have a relationship with him. I didn't really know my father growing up. I think I spent maybe a total of 2 years in his presence as a child.
Okay, so who raised you then?
My grandmother did.
Okay, so your grandma raised you.
Yes.
And so your mom's incarcerated, your grandma raised you, you've got these kids. Did you bring your kids with you?
When I came back from Mexico, yes.
Okay.
He came back from Mexico, followed me to my grandma's house, and me and him split up. There was a mess, and the children ended up being taken away by CPS.
Okay, so you have 3 children that have been taken away. I remember your mom telling me about situations with your kids.
Yes.
So let's fast forward, okay? So your life really was a mess. Let's talk about that's a mess. That's a mess. Just being kidnapped and being brainwashed and being held like that, that's craziness right there. That would destroy most people. And yet here you are today. So when and where did you meet Jesus Christ?
My dad's a pastor, so I always knew that Christ existed. I always knew there was a see all, know all God. But because of everything I had gone through, I said, well, where is he? He's non-existent.
Wait, common question. Yes. You know, we know of a God, but then we don't have like a great upbringing, or something happens to us, an injustice happens to us, and we want to know, or a tragedy happens, where's God? Where's this loving God? Right?
Yeah.
And this is the question you asked, where's this loving God?
Yeah.
So go ahead, where did you find him?
I found him
And when?
again at, when I went to ASM, or Alongside Ministries, I thought it was so cool, you know, volunteering, helping the homeless, giving back to the community was so cool. So when I ended up leaving, I looked for Debbie and found out she was running BFF. And I was just at a point where I needed God again. And I went to a service, and Debbie, of course, she's like, "You're gonna come back." I said, "Okay." And yeah, I went back, and she checked up on me. She made sure that I was there every Friday. And I made it a goal not to miss a single service. And I don't think I did unless, you know, because we ended up having Ruby, but unless I was in the hospital or something.
You were always there?
Yes.
So did you meet Christ in that place?
Yes, I did.
And okay, so I'm going to go back just a second ago. So she has 5 children. You have
Yes.
5?
Yeah.
So Damien is with another relationship that you had, and he's a beautiful boy who has a heart for Jesus.
Yes.
And you just recently had Ruby not too long ago, so
Yes.
God has blessed her with a little girl. So she had 3 children that were taken away,
Yeah.
but you have 2 children that are with you now, and you're married. You have a wonderful husband who
Yes.
loves that you go to BFF, because he even said that there's a wonderful change about you.
Oh, yeah.
So you came to know Christ at BFF, and which
Yes.
is so exciting for me, because we love that God is working and doing a thing there. And so what's different about the community at BFF?
What's different is there's no judgment. You can say everything that you have gone through, and they might not have the exact story. Nobody has the exact pain that you felt. But it's so similar to how women suffer, and women think there's no way out and just continue to suffer, but there is.
I love that she just said that, because I think that's probably one of the things that we think of. There's no way out. There's no one who understands. There's no way out. That's a lie from the enemy. There is a way out. You don't travel alone. It's finding that community that helps you be where you need to be.
And then when you feel like, you know what, maybe I want to do this again, or maybe I want to go drink or go get high or something, you know, maybe I need that in my life. You have people in your life that are like, what are you doing?
That would
do
be
that.
called holding you accountable.
Yes.
You know, in our addiction, we don't want anyone to hold us accountable. But when we're fighting that good fight and we recognize that people aren't judging us, they actually do love us, then, and they're reaching out not because they're nosy, but they really care. That's a different feeling.
It's a world of a difference. It makes or breaks you. Like having that, the people that are like your backbone, you know, whenever you're missing your backbone, people will just hold you up. You know, when you feel like you can't be standing up on your own, there's people that do it for you.
Oh my gosh, I'm about ready to cry, because I've known this young lady for such a long time, and I've seen her struggle, and I'm just gonna go back a little bit talking about her mom, because her mom, you know, has had plenty of opportunities to make life right, to do the right thing, and for whatever reason, you know, it's just been a huge struggle for her. And so I've watched this beautiful young lady just kind of like want to be there for her mom over and over and over again. And one of the things that you learn at BFF is boundaries.
Oh, yes.
And so you have some pretty strong boundaries in place. And because of those boundaries, what has changed in your life because of that?
Speaking of my mom, I was like an enabler. I always, you know, made it okay. Like, okay, she's doing this. Oh, wow, I'm here. You know, she's in prison again. Okay, here I go, back to prison, go visit. You know, I always made it okay. But with boundaries...
Is that speaking to anybody out there, that you continue to make things okay for somebody who is struggling in their addiction or in their lies? You may want to think about where you fit in this puzzle, because it does not help a person recover. And if you're the person who is like looking for people to enable you and they stop doing that, it's because they love you enough to stop.
Yeah.
So what happened with your boundaries?
And the thing is that the enabler is not only making that person's life okay, but it's tearing up your own. You can't hold so much for another person when it's not breaking you. You know, seeing that this person keeps going back to the same thing, it's not okay. It's not okay on you. You know, it broke me. And I had to be to the point where, you know what, no, positive vibes only around me, and I will not deal with any negative. You know, I have struggled so hard to find my peace. I will not allow anybody to break it.
And she has fought the good fight to get to this place of peace. And that's the thing, is that the enemy wants to take your peace, and he'll use anything that he can to try to make you think that you need to do something for someone else because, well, that's who you should be.
Yep.
And the thing is that Jesus said, my peace I leave you. I give this to you. So fighting for our peace is a huge, huge deal. I'm so proud of you that you fight for your peace. Okay, so the difference about BFF's community is that what?
There's no judgment.
There's just no judgment. You
Be
just
yourself.
come on in. Be yourself.
You cannot fix yourself if you're pretending to be somebody else.
Oh, listen to that. Words of wisdom. Okay, so now with your plans moving, her life is so different. Her family's life is just so different. It's just so crazy. You need to come to BFF and come and visit this woman and experience really what God's doing over here. So what are your plans moving forward?
Well, moving forward, we recently found a church, and we're going to be going to church every Sunday now. And
is your son super happy?
Oh, yes. He loves it. It has a great children's ministry, so he's super psyched about it. And, you know, the baby still with me, but soon she'll be part of it too.
And then what about growing into your role with BFF?
I was recently asked to be a co-leader at the table.
Yep. She's going to be a leader. She's growing into leadership. That's one of the things that we long to do at BFF, is to take what the enemy meant for harm and to recognize God has called us into a leadership role. If we are leading someone, and you know, you are now an absolute testimony to the power of God, and just really letting the process do what it is. Work the steps, work the system. Let the process be the process, and then show other women that they can do that too. Amen to that.
Yes.
So what have you learned from BFF that you're going to be teaching your children? What difference has that made because you have healed?
Oh, my son, he's so happy. He wants to be a pastor when he grows up. He has a relationship with God. He knows who God is. And, you know, the same thing we're going to be showing Ruby.
So the kind of abuse and the way you were showed how to live your life is not the way your children are being raised. She loves her kids, and I love that you let us love your children. I love that you let us speak into your life, because if you wouldn't have let us speak into your life, you wouldn't be where you are today. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, young lady, for sharing your testimony. And I just love this young lady. I love her like she's my own kid. And thank you for joining us for Testimony Tuesday. Thank you for being so transparent and telling the world about the goodness of God. And we'd love for you to join us on a Friday night. You know, that's what we do. This is the life we live together. You don't journey alone. We are there for you. And if you're just needing to go out and reach out to someone, go to our website, go to our Facebook page, reach out and contact us. We'd love to just say hi, pray with you, and just give you a word of encouragement. Remember that you don't journey alone. That's one of the things that she said. You think you do, but you really don't. And above all, remember that God has good plans for you and that you are loved. Don't give up, loved ones. Hope to see you soon. Thanks for joining us. Bye now.